everybody, Johan Magnusson here, Big Swede Barbecue. Today we're making South Texas Antelope with a bourbon sauce from Garrison brothers on the Weber kettle. So the first thing that we want to do is marinate the South Texas Antelope. So here's how we do that. So we got two beautiful fillets here of South Texas Antelope or Nilgai Antelopes. The Nilgai Antelope is originally from India and Nepal, but a lot of ranches in South Texas are farming them right now. So we want to marinate these because they're super lean. We're going to start by adding half a cup of soy sauce to a bowl. We're going to add a tablespoon of crushed garlic. We're also going to add a tablespoon of our Big Swede Barbecue Badass Burger Boost. Next, we want to add a squirt of lime juice. Then you want to add a quarter of a cup of Garrison Brothers bourbon to the mix. Then we want to add a third of a cup of brown sugar as well. Now we're going to mix this thoroughly. Then we're going to place both the fillets in a Ziploc bag and pour the marinade on top. And then we want to set this aside for at least 24 hours. It's been 24 hours, the antelope is marinated, so now it's time to take it out and start preparing it for the grill. We're going to remove the fillets from the marinade and discard the marinade. We want to pat them dry, and then we want to season them lightly with our Big Swede Barbecue Badass Beef Boost. Then we can set them aside. So the antelope is now seasoned, so the next thing is preparing the ingredients for the bourbon sauce. To make the sauce, we're going to start by finely dicing 2 shallots. You also want to finely dice a cup of mushrooms. I'm using porcini for a great flavor. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a hot pan. Next, we want to add the shallots and saute for a minute. And then we want to add the mushrooms as well. Now we want to saute these until the shallots are translucent and the mushrooms are starting to brown. Then we want to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of bourbon and flambe. And of course, we're using Garrison Brothers again. Next, we want to add a cup of water. And then you want to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of concentrated beef stock. You also want to add a couple of sprigs of thyme. Now we're going to simmer this until reduced by half. And then we're going to add a stick of butter and melt into the sauce. Now you can either strain the sauce or puree it, or you can keep it as is. I like a little bit of texture in mine, so I'm going to keep it. The sauce is now simmering, so the last thing that we want to do is fire up the Weber kettle and get to grilling. We want to fill up a chimney starter with good charcoal, and then we want to light it on fire. Then when we have a good fire going, we're going to dump the charcoal in one side of the Weber kettle. We're going to add a handful of bourbon barrel bark from Smoke Your Bourbon. Then we want to place the fillets over the side where there's no charcoal, and we're going to cook these indirect first. When the fillets reach an inner temperature of about 115, 120 degrees, we can move them over. Now we're going to char them a little bit on all sides. Make sure that you don't cook them to more than 130 degrees. When ready, remove and let them rest. Then we're going to slice these South Texas Antelope into nice slices, and we're going to pour some sauce on top, and then it's ready to serve. And that is how I make my South Texas Antelope with a bourbon sauce. And I think the only thing left to do is to try this and see what it tastes like. Oh. Super lean, super flavorful. Has a lot of bourbon flavor. I love this dish. I hope you do too. Happy grilling.